This is one of the number one questions I get. Coach JV, when are you selling your crypto? Or when should I buy crypto? So in today's video, we're going to break down my exact plan. We're also going to watch a video from Raul Paul, has a great description. We'll watch a brief moment of it. And I recommend you go watch the whole video because he gives you a totally different perspective as well. So I'm going to share with you from my exact paradigm, what I have done and my diversification strategy. So my name is Coach JV. What I work to do is make very complex macro and microeconomic strategy very simple so the normal everyday person can implement them. What I truly believe in is financial literacy, financial discipline, learning how to earn. Once you learn how to earn, learn how to invest, profit, and protect. And that's a model I've been following since I finally matured in my investment strategies in 2020. And I'll explain that part first. So first, when I was in corporate America, I went to school, I got a job, I had a 401k. Nothing wrong with that, but it's a vertical strategy, right? There's no diversification, and you're hoping that you'll be able to retire, right? And what I mean by that is that when the market hits, let me give you an example. 2006 to 2008, some of your parents may have gone through this, right? So imagine you're getting ready to retire and all of a sudden the market comes collapsing down. That's hope. You hope that what you did for those 30 years with your 401k is going to work out. Now, there's different strategy you can do. So for me, I left corporate America, my banking job, and I had went to school, got a job, had a 401k, did all those things. And then when I left, I was doing it incorrect, in my opinion, on the cash flow quadrant, is I started a company and I was working inside the company. Didn't scale the company. I'm still trading time for money, right? So if I didn't add more time to my schedule, I couldn't make more money. So I wasn't following Warren Buffett's model. You'll never be wealthy till you can make money while you sleep. So that was the first problem. Second problem is I just had cryptocurrency, right? And a wise counsel came into our facility one day and I was like, oh, when XRP goes to XYZ, I'm going to retire. And they were like, crypto's your retirement? And they said something to me that I had to digest for a while. They said, crypto's an investment, not a retirement. I'm like, explain more. And so just kind of sat on that for a minute. Now, what they meant by that was crypto is an extremely speculative asset, has amazing growth potential like we've never seen before, which Raul Paul is going to break down even deeper. But it also is extremely volatile. So it gives you a couple things you can do. You can hold long-term for a very long time and you'll be A-okay. Now, people are in all different financial situations. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to take advantage of the extreme volatility and pull it from the left side of the risk pyramid and pull profits. But I held a bag in there for long-term strategy forever, which I'll break down. And then I pulled it down. I started to diversify. So for me, during the bull run, instead of just watching it go up and down, I diversified into business. We opened up several companies. We invested in those companies and we grew those companies. I got a little bit of silver for bartability. I started to insure my wealth. So I personally insure my wealth. It's a important part of my strategy. We have business, insurance, precious metals, and now we're heading into real estate 2020, back into 2024, going into 2025. So that cycle worked really well for me, right? And then in 2022, boom, it came collapsing down. And a lot of people were sitting there in depression. They hadn't pulled any profits. They thought they were going to continue to get rich quick. And I had pulled profits, put money into my insurance policies, put money into businesses, and I developed cash generating assets, which a lot of my businesses are, right? So from there, when everybody was panicking, pissed, and depressed, I buy the dip. So since 2022 to now, 2024, I've been accumulating. I've been dollar cost averaging in every single week. Okay. Now I'm going deep into my strategy every single week. And when I see pullbacks, I buy more. Okay. And right now, before September, October, this was what I believe for me personally is the buy-in points. Because what everybody's going to do is they're going to come rushing into cryptocurrency when it's exciting, when it's on the news, and they do the opposite of what you should do, right? So they're buying the tops and then they get rocked when it comes collapsing down in 2026. So it's going to go from 2024 back in 2025. It's going to be up and, it's going to go up and it's going to have these runs, and then it's going to go into the bear market again in 2026. So I'll just follow the same cycle. So when it starts to go up for me, and I'm going to have you listen to Raul Paul's perspective as well. When it goes up for me, I have a 50-50 exit plan. I'm holding 50% long-term. So it's kind of a mix of his strategy. And he goes really deep into it and he explains the whys behind it. I hold 50% long-term because I have a plan with the 50% that I'm pulling, because most of it's in long-term capital gains. So when I pull that, I'm max funding my policies, my insurance policies. I'll be getting into more real estate to create cash generating assets, continuing to get more businesses for cash generating assets. And what I'll do is when the bear market hits again, I'll go back into accumulation phase big time. I'll hold my bag and I'll go into accumulation phase as the next cycle comes, and I'll just keep repeating that cycle. So we're going to listen to Raul Paul. So that's basically what I've been explaining for a while now. And my strategy has matured and what I mean by matured is I've learned more over the time. And I feel like I have a very solid strategy. Number one is I feel like I have a solid retirement now. My kids are set up. I don't feel scared of the markets anymore. I get really excited when it collapses down. I actually get pumped up when it collapses down. I celebrate because I can buy more. And when it's going down, I celebrate. When it's going up, I stay patient. And I have a very strict plan. So listen to Raul Paul's perspective. I highly recommend you go watch his Journeyman channel. And we're going to watch probably about 6-7 minutes of this, but go watch the whole video. I would give you homework to do that. It's very important.
Probably the most from everybody, and I can understand why, which is, when do I sell my crypto? And there's a lot, so, or not by much anyway. The question I get asked probably the most from everybody, and I can understand why, which is, when do I sell my crypto? And there's a lot to that, so I wanted to address it. Now, obviously, if you're here on my YouTube channel, Raul Paul, the Journeyman, you're watching this, please subscribe to the channel. You'll get these kind of updates, plus my long form interviews, plus my analysis. It really helps the numbers. So if you find this kind of content useful, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Okay, let's talk about the psychology of when to take profits, the cycles that we know are there. And let's just think it through together, because it's going to vary for everybody. And that's a key thing. So as we know, crypto is very cyclical based on this everything code thesis that I've built, which is there's a debt refi cycle that happens every 4 years because everybody reset their interest rates in 2008 to 0 and then made all the government debts in around 4 years, 3 to 5 years. And it's created this endless cycle, which happens to be the same as the Bitcoin halving cycle and the US presidential cycle. So we're faced with these cycles. And out of 3 years, crypto is the best performing asset in the world. In year 1, crypto spring, year 2, crypto summer, year 3, crypto fall, and macro spring, summer, fall. And then year 4 is the worst. And the worst is what scars people. And people want to know how to deal with this. So how I think about it first is you've got to establish, what are your goals here? What is your time horizon for your investments? So if you're saying, my big macro thesis is this space goes from, let's say, $2.5 trillion today to, let's say, 10 to 15 trillion at the end of this cycle, depending how big this cycle is, to 100 trillion by, let's say, 2032. So we've got the largest wealth generating macro trend of all time, and it's still in front of us.
10.
Yes, the early days were super high returns, but it's still super high returns. So we don't want to fuck this up. Right? We want to capture that. So a lot of people start thinking, well, should I trade out in macro crypto fall, try and sell that peak and then buy in the bottom, and then I don't have to go through the horror of the 75% drawdowns?
So what he's saying there is, like some people sell out all their crypto and they buy back in, but he's going to share another thesis around holding all or some of it is very important. So that's why I hold 50%. I had never really heard this thesis. I just heard this, but I hold 50% because of the moon bag and the continued belief in it. And then I pull 50% because I have a plan for the 50%. But with the plan for the 50%, it allows me the opportunity to buy back in with cash generating assets. So I'm multiplying my money, richest man in Babylon.
Let's think about this. Firstly, I'm going to give you what I did and the lessons I learned. And then we'll talk about how we can deal with this cycle going forwards, so I can help you navigate your needs. And we've all got different needs here. So the first time I bought Bitcoin was at $200 in 2013. I had a 5 to 10 year view that this was going to be worth $1 million. And it was $200. And I discounted myself by 90% for being a moron, thinking that it could go to $1 million. So I said, listen, it's worth $100,000. This is $200. This is the best opportunity I've ever seen. So I treated it like a call option at the time. So I didn't put a huge amount of money in, but a decent size. And I said, right, I'm just going to forget about it. It kind of went up like a rocket ship straight after that. And I was up 5x or something very quickly. And I was like, oh my God, I'm clearly George Soros. I'm the best trader ever. And then it fell 85%. And I just didn't worry about it because it was a call option. At the time, I thought, well, I could go to zero. So I'll just see. Let me play this out. That's a macro time horizon, long-term time horizon. I thought if I just hold it long enough, we should generate huge returns. By 2017, crypto's taking off again, and it's at $2,000. And I was now up 10x, and the Bitcoin forking wars happened, and I mid-curved it. Mid-curving it is, if you remember, is when you're overthinking a very simple
This is important
trend, which is, you can be the moron on the left or the Jedi master on the right, but in the middle is where you do all of the overthinking.
Mm-hmm.
The moron on the left is it goes from 2.5 trillion to 10 to 15 trillion to 100 trillion. Just do that. Everything in the middle is regulation. It's what about, what happens if somebody replaces the tokens that I've got? It's what about forking? It's all of these things. They're all noise. So I succumb to the noise. I'm like, I don't know what this means. Do I switch into one, Bitcoin Cash or whatever? Stupid. And so anyway, I took profits and I was up 10x and I thought I was great. And then it went up another 10x in the next 9 months. 2017 was staggering. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. But I wasn't worried because I've made 10x. So I try not to have regrets about positions. And then it fell, and it fell 85% as usual. And 2018, there was all the tether fund at the time. There was a whole bunch of misery around the 2018 19 bear market. So 18 was that terrible year. Then it bases in 19, starts rising. I start watching it and then start digging in, doing the homework of, do I want to get back in meaningful size? And then I'm watching the chart pattern, looking for an entry, and it does this massive kind of wedge pattern, gets to the top, tries to break out, drops into the middle on the COVID massive sell-off. And I'm like, this is the opportunity because I know this chart pattern, the likelihood it's going high. And so I got in there and I massively sized up what versus my original bet. Maybe it's 6-7 times bigger than the first time I went in. And I've added since. Okay, so how did I do? I felt great because I bought it low, sold it into a big rally in one cycle, then bought it. I'd ridden one cycle all the way up and down, rode the other one up, sold out, then rebought into maximum pain, the down 50% day. And then the breakout of 10,000 above that. I thought, yeah, I've done pretty well with this. I then went back and looked at what happens if I just kept my original bet, which was much smaller. I would have made 5 times as much money by not doing anything. That kind of upset me a little bit because I thought, I was a macro guy, I traded it well. No. The issue being is this asset is in a logarithmic uptrend based on a network adoption model, Metcalfe's law. And so all of the highs are higher and all of the lows are higher. And when you put it on a normal scaling, it keeps looking.
Okay, so I want you guys to go check out. I want to give respect to his channel. I want you to check out the rest of that. So basically, what he's saying is, if he would have just held all the way through, the way Bitcoin operates, or the crypto market operates, specifically Bitcoin, is the new lows or the higher high. It just keeps going up, dropping, new high, new high, new high, new low, new high, new low, right? There's no asset class that has done anything like this, right? So for me, I have a mix of this strategy. Now, what do I mean by that? Is that basically what I do is I make sure that I have something to exit into outside of cryptocurrency, which I think is very important. For me, I wanted to have safety, security. I look at macro and microeconomic trends. I believe, in my opinion, based on the way our economy is going, that taxes are going to be higher. So I wanted tax-free distribution of my money, or access my money tax-free at retirement. I don't like the fact that I was putting a bunch of money into a retirement policy where at the end of it, I get taxed and I don't know what the tax implications are going to be. So I like to use insurance-based products. And there's a tax code called 7702A that allows you to use the cash value tax-free. It's not a retirement. So if people are selling this retirement, it's not a retirement. They're insurance vehicles where you can use cash value tax-free. You can also borrow against them as well. So that's one of my strategies. Business as well. Information technology, attention, and education. We have multiple different companies in different sectors. We believe that the innovation in technology is making it easier to become an entrepreneur. It's also making things more accessible, and information is a very important part of these ecosystems, right? Education is as well. So we work to create businesses that help humanity, and we take that cash flow, and we're not buying Lambos and Ferraris and all these different things. During these cycles, I was putting it back into crypto. Okay. So it's kind of like a mix. So I'm holding 50% long-term, never touching it, because it's going to fall. I'm just okay watching it go up, watching it go down. But for me, I have a plan for the 50% because I'm exiting into other things, right? Now you can just that's why I wanted you to hear a different perspective, is you can watch it just go up and go down, go up. And it all depends on what your finances are. Raul Paul, he's I believe he's a pretty wealthy man. So he may be in a different situation. Like you said, he upped his position big time in 2020, and he could probably handle watching it go up and go down. Some of you may be in a position where this is your opportunity, right? For me, it was my opportunity in 2020. I'd lost everything and I didn't touch my crypto. I did not touch it. I was like, I'm not touching my crypto. And I humbled myself. If you guys know the story, I moved back in with my parents. I was like, I'm not touching my crypto. They shut our business down with the pandemic. And I went all in. Studying how money moves through the system, how to diversify, how to be non-emotional. And so right now, for me, this is a phenomenal buying opportunity. Everybody's like, when should you buy in? I'm buying in now. Every time Bitcoin dips, so my bags are packed. So they're called moon bags. My bags are packed in all the other things. I feel very comfortable with my accumulation. Some things I'm dollar cost average. One item is Bitcoin, and every time it dips, I'm buying into it. And that won't be a different play with all my other ones. Everything else is in long-term capital gains. My Bitcoin I started accumulating last year. Of course, I wish I would have accumulated a long time ago. My average buy-in price is 40,000, just being transparent with you guys. So, it's not really where I wanted it to be, but I continue to buy the dips, try to bring that cost down. I don't think it's going to dip low enough for me to bring that cost down, or that dollar cost average down. So that's exactly what I'm doing. But I just wanted to share this with you guys because that's the number one question I get. So how do I exit, right? That's why we created Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. It is not an investment. It is not an exchange. It is an interface where you can put all your cryptos in one place. Okay, you can show it that we don't have it's an interface. You can see all your cryptos in one place. You can set up an exit plan. So down below, you can get 30 days for free where you can set up an exit plan. So if you choose to exit the markets, I do a 50-50 exit. I exit 50%, I hold 50%, okay? If it hits my targets, if it doesn't, I don't exit. So I take it and I put it into my insurance policies. So if you're interested in understanding how I insure wealth, you can also set up a free consultation with my team. There's an assessment down there. You just fill it out, and then we'll line you up with the right person that meets your needs. And I think that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope you have a great day. I'm just doing some traveling up north, doing some spiritual work and connecting with God and Jesus Christ. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, warriors, let's get your shit together. Let's go.